Okay. You're on to the next. I just gave you the answers to the other part if you needed them. Okay. You're on to the next part where it tells you to do your best to answer the questions on the right in complete sentences. You will need to use the class schedule up above to help you. Now, I cannot just have you write one-word answers here. You need to write complete sentences. A hint that I can give you is that all of your answers should contain a conjugation of the verb tener somewhere. Where are we going to get our conjugations of the verb tener? Doi. Come on, people. Use your resources, especially when they're right in front of your stinking faces. Whew, I digress. Okay, so we're going to need to use a couple things. We're going to need to use this here schedule for the Colegio de Orquídeas, which is a real school. This is a real school schedule for a school in Managua, Nicaragua. We're going to need to use that, and we're going to use our conjugations of the verb tener. All right, beautiful. Let's do the first one. It says, ¿Qué clases tienes tú los lunes por la mañana? Fascinante. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So it looks like what we're going to need to do is decide what classes we have on Monday por la mañana. Oh gosh, I don't remember what por la mañana means. Well, thankfully, linked right inside of a Quizlet that is made available to you, just helps practice with the school-related vocabulary. We find out that por la mañana means in the morning. Okay, so we can go up to Mondays in the morning. Okay, so I would say morning is probably anytime before like noon, but like we don't have to necessarily go that crazy. Okay, we can just kind of go up until recreo or recess maybe. Okay, so it looks like we could start our answer by making sure we use complete sentences. So let's make sure we add some complexity where necessary. We could say something like primero, which means first. Oh, I don't know what I gotta do. I want to say first I have acto civico. Okay. And why do I know it's gonna be I have? Well, look at in the question they've asked, what classes do you have? Okay. So I can say the yo form of tener in my response. So yo tengo. That's a super weird one, right? Primero, yo tengo la clase de acto cívico. Okay, or even more simply, yo tengo acto cívico. All right. Then let's see if we can think of some of our other words for like time-related expressions. We can say siguiente. Tengo la clase de, what was the next one? Informática. Y lectura. Después voy, maybe I'll switch up and I'll use a yo form of the verb ir instead, right? Voy a la clase de música. Finalmente, por la mañana tengo danza. All right, now that's a super, super try hard version of how to answer that question, but really, you guys are capable of doing that if you engage a couple of strategies. Recognize that you need to use the yo form because the question was asked in the to form. Anytime a question is asked in the to form, the response will be in the yo form. Okay. You can know how to look at this. You can know how to use the verb tener because you did it up here. And you can use those expressions like primero, siguiente, después, finalmente, because you have been provided that Quizlet that says how to talk about classes. Beautiful. All right. Now, don't just go ahead and do all of your answers in the yo form because not all of your questions are in the yo form. Uh-oh. Check it out. Number 2 says, ¿Qué clase tiene Marcela primero los martes? We're going to imagine that Marcela, whoever the heck she is using the same schedule as us, okay? Which means that now we are not asking a question in the to form. No, ma'am. Instead, we are asking a question in the ella form. What happened? Oh, gosh. Okay. We're asking a question in the ella form. Now, I bet the same rule will apply here, where it says if a question is asked in the L form, the response will be in the L form. Probably the same is true for the AF form. If a question is asked in the AF form, we're probably going to answer in the AF form, right? If we're asking a question about her schedule, we're probably going to get an answer about her schedule. Yadoe. Okay, so finally then, if we're going to start to do this, we're going to answer with the same verb that we used in the question, right? We can say something like Marcela or ella. Marcela tiene. All right, and then it says, ¿Qué clase tiene Marcela primero los martes? Okay, so what does she have first on Tuesdays? Oh, tiene la clase de inglés. Easy, 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 easy. Okay. Now, here's what I want you guys to really, really think about. Take some time, dig deep, and make sure you do a fancy, fancy job with this, because it's so important that you do start to understand how you can make your sentences more complex by adding those extra terms, right? That's why I've provided links to make things more fascinating and more complex, right? You are at a point where you're learning to communicate well, not just communicate semi okay. If your responses aren't in complete sentences, I'm not going to be happy. If you keep waiting, I will give some sample answers at the end of this video. Lazy stinkers. So, here are some sample answers. Do not copy them word for word, but realize that you can use them as a resource, as a starting point, as necessary, okay? Hey, number 3 was tough because it's saying, what days do we have music and dance class? If someone's asking, what days do we have that? How are we going to respond? Not just you singular, right? But you guys have music and dance on these days, okay? That's why I did that. And when you went up, you found out that they had music and dance on Mondays and on Wednesdays. And that's why we said, ustedes tienen la clase de música y danza los lunes y los miércoles, all right? Then it says, ¿Qué clase tengo después de los estudios sociales los miércoles? Which meaning, what class do I have after social studies on Wednesdays? Well, on Wednesdays, it looks like after estudios sociales, you would have ciencias naturales. Beautiful. And then finally, ¿Qué clases tenéis por la tarde de los jueves? Was asking, which class do y'all have in the afternoon on Thursdays? And it looks like we have artes plásticas, okay? And you could probably include matemáticas in there too. If you included matemáticas in that answer, you could have done that one as well. So I'll give you a little second to look at those. If yours weren't exactly the same, but you had the right kind of idea, hey, that's great, okay? You guys, you should feel good about your ability to do this well. If you struggle, that's okay too. But what this is an opportunity for us to start practicing putting all of this stuff together. You're great.